As we're heading into spring, and it won't be long before we're all getting into planting our crops, there's a lot that needs to be done before we can actually get plants in the ground. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through all the things that I need to do before getting plants in the ground. So let's get to it. Now, this first job on my list is my least favourite, but it's really important to do, and now is the perfect time. Pulling out any weeds before you put your seedlings in the ground just helps to give your seedlings a great start. It means I don't have to worry about stepping on little seedlings or them getting choked out. So although I hate weeding, I make sure to do this before planting anything in the ground. And if, like us, you mulch your garden beds, it's a really good idea to pull back that mulch and inspect underneath for any weeds. It's really important to get rid of weeds before they start flowering as well, otherwise that'll just make more weeds grow in your garden. So staying on top of weeds, really important. It also means I'm forced to be out here checking on the conditions of my garden before plants even go on the ground. Mulching is something that we really like to do. It has so many benefits for your soil health. It also helps to retain moisture, to suppress weeds, and to slowly supply nutrients to your plants as it breaks down. We've been gathering up leaf mulch for a while now, and it's something we always like to think about early, because by the time you need it, there's either no leaves on the ground anymore or the grass has gone to seed and things like that. So if you want to mulch your garden, I definitely recommend start gathering your mulch now, whether that be leaves, straw, grass clippings, things like that. Whatever it is, start gathering it now so that when you're in the busyness of spring, you're not having to worry about sourcing mulch. Another thing that I've just made a start on is pruning our fruit trees. I noticed there was buds all over these peach trees here, so I knew it was time to get pruning. Now, I'm definitely no expert at pruning, but when it comes to things like fruit trees, you think about airflow, letting the sunshine in, and good ventilation. So I just went ahead and created some space, cut off any dead branches as well, and things like that. I also managed to prune our grapevines back. It's also a good time to check out your trees and see if they've got any disease and things like that, so that you can make a plan moving forward. Don't feel like you've got to prune just because it's almost spring, but definitely think about, could the plant use a trim to help it stay healthy or produce more fruit. Now let's talk about the most important part of gardening, your soil. Healthy soil is full of essential nutrients that your plants will feed on to grow. If the nutrients isn't there, then your plants are not going to grow. But how do you know what nutrients is in your soil? This is where soil testing is so beneficial, because it tells you exactly what nutrients your soil has and doesn't have, and then you know what you can amend your soil with. Soil tests are so easy to do. You can buy them online, or you can have your soil sent to a lab. This is going to test for the main essential nutrients in your soil, and it's going to give you an indication on whether or not your soil has lots of it or a little. And once you know exactly what nutrients your soil has and what it's lacking, then you can go and amend this accordingly. There are all sorts of really great products you can amend with. There are liquid fertilizers, mineral powders, things like that. But you can also use things that you have around the home. You can use stinging nettle to make your own liquid fertilizers, and this is going to put nitrogen back into your soil. Or you can use a little bit of wood ash to put potassium back into your soil. If you're not sure on all these different amendments, a really safe option to do is just add compost to your garden. Compost for your garden is like a well-balanced meal. Because it's made up of so many different ingredients, it's full of all the essential nutrients that your plants could possibly need. The only thing is, compost can be a bit expensive to buy, or if you make it yourself like we do, it can be very valuable. So you may not want to go just spreading layers and layers of it all over your garden. If you want to use your compost sparingly like we do, I suggest only putting it on your garden beds where you're going to plant heavy feeders. This is things like your fruits or your brassicas and things like that. Another tip is, instead of just spreading it over the top of your soil, you could save it until later when you are planting and just plant the seedling with a handful of compost underneath it. And this is going to help get it off to a great start. For all of your greens like herbs and lettuce, I don't bother putting compost on those garden beds, because for the nutrients they need, being mostly nitrogen, I can just make a liquid fertilizer out of stinging nettle, which we have plenty of around here, and they'll be happy as. Now is also a good time to be building any structures you might need, or making new garden beds and things like that. We'll talk about this behind me in another video. But yes, garden structures, garden beds, things like that. Now's the perfect time to get them or build them, but before you do that, you'll have to know what you're even wanting to plant. Now is the time to go down to your local gardening store or go through a seed catalogue and decide what you're going to grow this season. And while you're buying your seeds, you can get anything else that you might need. Think of your garden goals and base what you're going to grow off of that. Our goal is to grow as much of our own staple crops as possible, so we're growing things like potatoes, pumpkins, onions, things like that. Once you've decided what you're going to grow, it's a really good idea to make a garden plan. Plan out where you're going to plant everything in your garden. You can do this based off of soil quality, how much sunlight there is, and things like that. Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks you might like one of these ones on the screen here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.